Yo, 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 yo. What's it called? You're gonna hear my daughter in the background. She's in a pissed off mood. She's sitting and ranting in the sofa. Hey, Weeping Jay, how's it going? So today, I thought I'd celebrate Rutger Hauer, the man, the myth, Roy Batty. Hey, Slimpin' Boys, what's up? How's it going? So it's gonna be like a study again, but I'm a big fan of um, Blade Runner. I even bought the limited edition Blu-ray, and with it you got the police car miniature, like the 30th anniversary Blu-ray with all possible cuts and everything on 4K. And I got this cop machine car. I'm a big fan of that movie. Oh, Zelin, how's it going? And hearing that he passed, I thought, well, I need to at least celebrate, because, not celebrate, but honor him. I did the same for Geiger. I had the pleasure to work on Alien franchise and the Alien. I never met Geiger, but I would have liked to. But I painted Geiger's portrait as well when he passed. Hey, Dr. Sheldon. Slumpin', yeah, absolutely. So I thought today I'd celebrate by painting one of the coolest end scenes in a movie. The rooftop, uh, the rooftop talk, like Tears in the Rain. Yeah, if anyone isn't familiar with it, it is this end scene in Blade Runner from the 70s. You can watch it here. And that monologue of the main bad guy was improvised by Rutger Hauer. And it has become this iconic scene in movie history. Not only did he ad-lib the monologue, it's also very catching. And for those who don't know, he's an android with a limited set lifespan, and they were fighting for their survival, like a way to stop their set lifespan, to free them. And the Blade Runner, aka Harrison Ford, is sent to shoot all defect androids, which only wants to survive. Yeah, so this in the end scene is him reaching the end of his life, this set lifespan. He didn't make it. He saved Harrison Ford in the end. Spoiler. I mean, clearly, if you haven't seen the movie from '79 till now, I doubt you will. It's a 30-year-old movie, 40-year-old movie. Oh shit! But it's an amazing movie. I'm a huge fan of it. Part of movie history. So needless to say, as a massive fan of the movie, as a massive fan of Rutger Hauer, not only in Blade Runner but in any movie really that he's been in. I'm obliged to send him off with a portrait. Zealin 64. Lost in Time? And like I said, you will be hearing my daughter in the background. She's pissed off. I don't know what's happening with her lately. It's frustrating as a father as well, when she's non-verbal. Well, she is verbal, but she can't really explain what's happening or what she's thinking. So it ends up with us having to guess, and you gotta just do your best guesses. So it's really frustrating. Hey, Woody Breakfast, how's it going? Yeah, so to further discuss what's gonna happen is I think come August 1st, I think it's gonna be season 5. I'm gonna do my very best to not have any downtime, but it might be downtime. I am not sure, but season 5 will have Patreon as a support system for those who don't want to go through Twitch. I would recommend Patreon come season 5. And in Patreon, I will try to make it so that there is extra content for those who are a Patreon. I'm still kind of figuring out what would be a cool way to do. Like, I'm thinking for those who want to, they can have the original resolution of the warm-ups. I'm unsure of what would be a like a good reward for being a Patreon. I have a couple of ideas. I'm contemplating for the Patreon, have like a... Hey, little Rib, how's it going? Of Woody Breakfast, yeah. Passing of Rutger Hauer, I felt like I need to honor him with a portrait of him in Blade Runner. As Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies, and one of my favorite movies with him in it. He definitely made Blade Runner to what Blade Runner is. He definitely carried the movie. He was definitely, for me, the coolest part of the movie, or one of the coolest parts of the movie. Obviously also the setting and the mood and all these things, but overall this end scene was what was epic. Yeah, he passed yesterday. At least it hit the news yesterday that he has passed. So I thought, let's send him off to his journey with a portrait. as I'm a big fan of of him. Like I said also earlier, I did the same for Geiger when he passed. Yeah, so back to thoughts on Patreon. Like I mentioned, I was thinking I'll do classes of sorts. I'm not really sure in what way still, but I was playing around with the idea that how to say it, like one of the absolute things that I do want to put into the Patreon, or at least I was playing with the idea of it, was a kind of fundamentals program. Yes, Lumpen Boys, exactly, in a way. What I was thinking about was a kind of fundamentals program where a structured class of things I reckon that you should learn or in practice, and a weird way I was contemplating, like, should I set it up so that you can't go on to the next one until you are approved, you know, like that there's checks and bounds in in the classes. So if you join the classes, it's like a graduation type thing, you know. At least that's what I was playing around with, the thought of, you know, like, because a lot of people, they do these things, but they do them half-heartedly. They don't fully fully explore it, right? I don't know. It was just an idea of maybe it would be cool to have some sort of man, words today. Like you start the game, right? And you got to do the tutorial to learn to kind of you get introduced to all the basic things that you need to start understanding to play the game fully, right? So I was thinking, you know, there's a lot of people who wants to learn and want to be better, but maybe they don't know certain topics to touch upon, you know, like what fundamentals are important for a concept art. So in a way, it's like a level 1 tutorial. It sounds weird, but the idea is not to punish anyone to go through the basics, but more of, have you actually really done the basics? How good are you? You know, like, what's the flaws? So the general idea I was thinking of how that maybe could be set up would be, it's like very focused Study Monday, but without it being Study Monday, it's just like, here's a 20 lessons in what's important in the fundamentals, like lesson 1. I don't know. So this example is just absolutely random, but circles and squares. Like, how good are you at drawing them? And then, like, I maybe record my thoughts on why that's important and what people should look out for, you know, and things like that. And then lighting, what's important when you start lighting a form. And then the basics is, this is how you light a circle, and then after you've lit the sphere, the next class is a more elaborate form, but it's still the same basics, and then materials, and then multiple materials, and you know, so it's like all the things in the game of being an artist you need to know in order to be like an efficient.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I kind of like the idea of that, but maybe that's just me. Gria, oh, thank you very much for that support, and rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. How's it going, Gria? Enjoying the summer? You were on a trip, right? In France, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me right. Yeah, so that was one idea for the Patreon. Oh, Gria. All right, all right. Feedback Google Hangout for a higher tier, maybe, Lurib. Yeah, yeah, that could be a cool idea. Halfway. All right. Famous last words, but we're pretty okay here, I'd say. It's definitely not accurate. Shit. But I kind of like I mean, I'm a little bit um, I'm contemplating on what, I mean, like what I would do with the Patreon other than having it as an alternative support system. Like, if you want to help the community, the server, or the Discord, the Warmup, and you don't like the idea of Twitch taking so much of the cut, then yeah, that's a great great thing to do is to be a supporter on Patreon, right? So it's you circumvene the 50% take from Twitch, and in a way the Patreon is just a form of subscription, right? Because I'm gonna link Patreon to the Discord, and season 5 there will be changes to. I'm contemplating changes to how the sketchbooks work on the Discord, because there's a lot of people who are not subscribers anymore, but they still have that sketchbook. So I need to kind of steer that right so that's fair for everyone. And one thing I will do is a link with Patreon and Twitch, so you gotta be an active subscriber to have access to it, or post privileges. I'm still not sure of how to do that, or the details of that yet, but I think those changes have to happen because it has to be fair. Zeolin, all those lost accuracies, yeah. Oh, Gria, you tried to make a study of this? Yeah. One thing that you gotta keep in mind on this one, which I kind of messed up a little bit on, is the rotation of the head versus the features. I think it is something a lot of people do mistakes on in general, is like the head rotation and features. But like I said, I'm not crazy accurate here. It's a little bit of a roadkill. Whoop, wrong color. Hurri. Yeah, it's a lot of subtleties in his face gear, which is really hard to capture, right? Hey Miguel, how's it going? I'm wrangling this portrait. Mm. It is what it is. Let's just leave it at that. Hey Miguel, how's it going? How are you doing? And I've been so busy. It's annoying me a lot that in my spare time, there's no spare time. So I've been trying really, really hard to get a lot of things done, but it's really hard. And it's this constant juggling of this and that and this and that. But we all know this. There's nothing new with life being busy, right? But it's just annoying. Like I want to get the winnings, the prizes for Unreal Bjorn out. I come this weekend. I will definitely get it out. Which will be great, which is very much needed. You're preparing your class for today. Oh, you're right. You're doing you have CGMA class, right? 8 minutes left. You're running a CGMA class, to be specific. Yeah, so again, that's the idea for the Patreon. What I want to do with the Patreon primarily is just have it as a like a secondary means of support. But I will migrate, I think, slowly towards the Patreon being the main kind of like reward platform. And with that, like I'm gonna try to make Gumroad for the non-Patreons, and the idea of my Gumroad is I'm not going to be able to make tons of them, but whenever I make one, my thinking was that it will be depending on the tier on the Patreon. Obviously, you'll just get it for free, you know. Or like any warm-uppers, if you're a warm-up supporter, instead of just tier 1 being, I don't know with Patreon, but tier 1 isn't that more like whatever you want to, like first step, if you just want to support with random money, here you go. Tier 2 being specific perks, right? That's how Patreon works. Correct me if I'm wrong. So in that way, you could be like, oh, you're a warm-up supporter, full package or whatever. You'll get any future Gumroad, etc. I think that will be a cool, depending on the package, of course, but or tier rather. Avoided breakfast. Cool. That's good. That's good. Like I have not ventured into Patreon. My daughter. I know the basics, the idea of Patreon. It seems like a cool platform. I just haven't gotten into it, right? I haven't ventured in there. I haven't done research. I haven't supported anyone on Patreon. I know that Evan and Spiridon is doing Patreon. Obviously, Evan is doing great, you know, because he has lots of supporters, which is great for him. I think that the biggest catalyst for me why I want to move away from Twitch subscription in general I mean, I'm going to keep it as is. It's going to be there for those who are engulfed in the Twitch community and how you give support. But yeah, for affiliate, it's really counterproductive. It's only productive if you're a paid partner, then it pays off. So my idea, for those who remember, I think season 3, I was discussing the idea of having my own character design class, and that would obviously go into the Patreon, because I do want to have it again, because I see a lot of people who have problems with character design, and I think my class was rather a great like baseline for people to learn, because proof is in the pudding, right? And there's so many people I can see who took my class who quickly became senior or lead artists, and I'm not taking all the the glory because they have worked hard. Absolutely not. But you can see them implementing all the techniques and fundamentals that was in the class in their work. So obviously, it's, you know, something right. So that's the idea, that will be a part of the whatever tier. I don't know yet. I haven't combed out the details, but the idea is that lectures go there and class go there, and Gumroads. So it's a little bit like, oh, you're a supporter. I wouldn't expect you to buy things twice, you know. And that's me, at least. It's time to die. Such an epic scene.
I feel like I should say something smart.
Hey, Team Rivers. Oh, thanks for the raid. The last minute. Slumpen Boys, yeah, exactly. It's just one level, I think. Zielin. Iglesias Miguel, yeah, absolutely. Share away. One daily basis. Yes, it's a great movie. 1 minute remaining. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. I'm messing up the portrait a little bit in terms of proportions and so on and likeness, but like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I did the same for Geiger, I had the pleasure to work on Alien, and it was a real honor to touch what Geiger had created. Unfortunately, I hadn't opportunity to work on Blade Runner or anything that Rutger Hauer has been involved in, but I'm a big fan of the movie, a big fan of Rutger, so I'm paying homage to the man, the legend, Roy Batty. Max, not the movie, mind you, but the award-winning Alien Isolation. I worked on that game, but it was touted as like the best Alien franchise thing, right? It won bazillion awards, so it was a real pleasure to be a part of it. But I didn't work on the movie. I almost worked on Neil Blomkamp's Alien, but it got cancelled, and so I couldn't put my touch on that one. Time's up. Rip. Let's have a look. I won't play the music, obviously, copyright reasons. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Cool. I'll have a proper look. But yeah, so I worked on Alien Isolation. It was by the Creative Assembly, exactly. Voodoo Breakfast. Oh, not even half. Not maybe a fourth of what I did for it is in the art book. The rest is under lock and seal. I did hundreds of drawings. It was a great game indeed. All right, I messed up the proportions a bit. Quite a bit. I think that in particular the top of his head, I don't know why I did it like that. Let's see if I can kind of wrangle it. Somewhat correct. Not really. A little bit more accurate. How was the before? Yeah. Not perfect, but what can you do, eh? It's okay for half an hour. Rest in peace, Rutger. Zealand, yeah. Okay, let's find someone to raid. Let's pass the love on to someone else. Let's find someone else to brighten their day with. What's Tofu and Senshi is doing? Dark Cloak, what is he doing? Comic. I guess we are venturing into the art category. Oh, Zelda. Let's see. Is it Tits and Ass Zelda? Or is it just Portrait Zelda? I mean, it could be interesting. I have no idea. She seems to have a bazillion followers, as most of them do. Let's see. Hopefully it's not tits and ass Zelda. As per usual, have a great day. Good night if you're in that part of the world. See you guys tomorrow morning. I think a little bit special stream tomorrow. We'll see. Anyways, have a good one. Thanks, Tim, very much for the raid. Thank you for the subscriptions. You guys are fantastic. Soon, season 5. Season 5, crazy. Anyways, bye everyone. So much fun.